Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very fine, Brother Benson. How about you over there?
Mimi Niko Salama. I'm very okay. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. It's only
Yeah.
that it's been cold over here. There's been
Okay.
a lot of rain and coldness, but
Mhm.
we are managing
You're managing. Um,
very well, very well.
because did Manu win the game they played yesterday or in the weekend?
Wow, very interesting. We won 4-0
Okay.
against Everton. It was a very interesting game.
Oh,
It
okay.
really made my weekend. Understand Rashford had to score 2 goals.
Uh-huh.
Zaxi has to score 2 goals. Bruno had to give us 2 assists. It was very interesting for me because my stars scored and my stars give an assist. Very interesting. We are doing well in the Premier League.
Okay. That's under your new manager.
Yeah, under our new manager, Ruben Amorim. The guy is a hardworking guy. I've been following him. He has been training with the team. He has been
Yeah.
going to the Carrington. They have been training vigorously, and I've been following their training. And I
Oh,
like him that he at least made each and every person to play. He's giving each and every person chance to play. It was a very interesting game for the man. We have to win.
okay. Thank you so much. And I know we can also say congrats to Arsenal. They also did well this weekend. They scored almost like five. Yeah, because like I'm not a fan of Premier League, but I usually sometimes look at the highlights just to know the reaction of people and the fans of the various Premier League teams. So
But before
yeah.
before we proceed, we can accolade Arsenal's.
Mhm,
But Man U had clean sheet.
mhm,
Arsenal were not having clean sheet because they won 5-2. But as
mhm,
for us, we
mhm.
had a clean sheet. There was no any goal from Everton.
Okay, let's wait for Arsenal fans on the comment section, so they can say everything that they want. So, my friend, there's so many things that happened during the weekend. One of them that we are going to discuss about is about the recap of what happened during the weekend. The major issue one is about the interview that the former deputy president had with Nation TV at his current residential home. He he mentioned few things that he feels about the government, and some of the things he mentioned we've been talking about them here in this channel, so but we will just go over them as what the former deputy president said. But before that, there's this one. Today the president was at, I think he was at the coastal region, and this is what he said. I quote: "As long as I am the president of Kenya, I will not accept issues of hate or tribalism." That is one. When you go to the coast the same day, today, Ali Hassan Joho said, "A country cannot be built through the internet. It cannot be built by people whose work revolve around Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Let me put them on notice. We can also talk. If they bring us trouble, we can also bring them trouble." And I know is Joho is one person, Honorable Joe. He has a very good following on the Instagram and it's TikTok. People follow him so much. So I don't know what he meant by that. Another issue is that Honorable Martha Karua flew to Uganda to go. This is what is it? Martha Karua has gone all the way to Kampala to represent Uganda opposition leader Kizza Besigye in court martial. Remember, it's called like Kizza Besigye was abducted or was abducted here in Nairobi and taken to UG. So Martha Karua is there. Is there. Another thing is I don't know whether it is true, but this is something that is there. The ban of Oscar Sudi and Kipchumba Murkomen, that is also something that is standing with in the US, ban them from entering the US space, travel ban on the two. That is there. Another thing that happened is about the governor of Bungoma. The governor of Bungoma. Lusaka hands over 5 million cash donated by President Ruto to St. Crispinus Anglican Church in Bungoma. Pesa 5 million taslim ni pesa, si check imehesabiwa. Milioni 5 imepatiwa cash, asijui kama hiyo pia itarudishwa. Hiyo now this is the senator for Kericho, Honorable Harun Cheriot. I quote, this is what he said on 30th. I do not think there is any country in the world where education is free from primary school and secondary. And that includes the wealthiest of nations, let alone the third world countries like Kenya. No country in the world can afford that. That is what Arun Cheriot said over the weekend. That is another thing. So we will come to the one for Gachagua. So, what is your take on everything that we've read over the weekend before we come into the main discussion of today? How Raila Amolo Odinga attacks and mocks Gachagua over his remark on Mitego. Remember?
Yeah, William Ruto, when he was addressing the resident at the coastal region,
Mhm.
he was simply responding to Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua had a very good time yesterday with the nation media. He addressed the public and he tried to present himself to the public, arguing his case, how he was impeached, reasons why he was impeached. And it was very clear that he was impeached under two grounds. One, corruption, that he cannot defend corruption. He did not defend corruption, and he will never defend corruption. That's why he was impeached. He further goes ahead and say that the reason why he was impeached because he is the only person who could object, Mr. President, even in the cabinet meeting. He was simply telling the people that even the attacks at me at Limuru were just plotted by the government because I refused to dine with them supporting corruption. Mr. President, because he was the person who was attacked by Rigathi Gachagua, because Rigathi Gachagua was very categorical about Mr. President, he said that it's William Ruto. Therefore, Mr. William Ruto, as a responsible politician, he has to respond to Rigathi Gachagua. And he was responding to Rigathi Gachagua and he maintained his position that no, it's not about corruption or the things he said yesterday. It's about tribalism. The guy was full of tribalism, and that's why he had to be impeached. He was impeached because of tribalism, not because of corruption. He's trying to quote. William is trying to tell the public that no, we impeached him because of the corruption, because of the tribalism he was playing in the country. We have talked about the issue of Joho castigating members of the public that they should not use internet to criticize government, and he said that internet does not is not a place where government do service delivery. I would like to disagree with Joho because we have free media and we have free speech. There is no way you can limit people not to. You cannot control what people say on the social media. You cannot control for people what to say, what to write, what to think. You can't control people's mind. You can't control people's writings on the social media. That is very wrong. People are free. If anybody has violated any law in the social media, or if anybody has violated any law in accordance with the provision in the media, even if somebody has defamed any person, there's a right procedure whereby a person who has been defamed can go to court and seek redress. But a person cannot control people not to use media. Media is a platform. Even the government is using the same media to advertise whatever they have done to the people. There's the same media to control their service delivery. Even whenever the president is, there is a media. Why do they want to control for the members of the public not to use the media? We are not going to buy your school of thought. We are not going to subscribe to that school of thought. Let him let him just be in the government, but let him not try to control the people what to say or not what to say. Oscar Sudi and Murkomen being denied visa to travel to the state of America. There have been rumors, and not rumors, there have been things that Murkomen have been found of. Murkomen was part of and parcel of the people who had a deal with Adani when he was the cabinet secretary for the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some report where they have received intel, reliable intel have received from New York that even the deal between Kenya and Adani the people who took part were so and so. That's why they have been denied that visa. It can be, and Oscar Studi has been a notorious guy in that regime.
Mhm.
Him and Murkomen being denied visa to travel is not news. Some people expected it to be so. It is
Yeah.
obvious. We understand them. They are notorious. They have been seen around in the regime, moving up and down. So that is very normal and obvious. Lusaka, the governor of Bungoma, giving out cash million to a certain clergy that has come from the donation from the government. In my view, the Bungoma people are reaped so big in this government. They have been given so much. I can say they have been enticed so much gift in the government because of the contribution they made for William Ruto.
Mhm.
William Ruto, when he became the president, Wetangula was made the Speaker of the National Assembly. There was even celebration in Bungoma. One of the national celebration was taken to Bungoma. And
Yeah.
currently there is an ongoing construction of a stadium in Bungoma. There was also proposed an ongoing project of airstrip in Bungoma,
Mhm.
whereby it has now moved from Kakamega to Bungoma. It's like they're moving Western Region capital Kakamega to Bungoma. There is even new construction and there was construction of new state lodge in Bungoma. Bungoma
Yep.
State Lodge.
Yep.
The president himself has gone there and he has even spent night there. And currently you have had the bishop delivering, the governor delivering cash to the clergy. It means that Bungoma has reached so much big and the people are being represented properly with their leaders at the national level. So there was no way they were going to return that money because with them, they are part and parcel of that government and they have reaped so much in that government. Back to you, Benson.
Thank you so much for that. And today we want to look at two scenarios that took place and give our opinion. We might say that our opinion might not be. Hey, Makobura, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, good evening. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I thank God. How about you guys?
We are doing fine. We are just here. Want to look at the recap of what happened over the weekend. We've talked about few of them. Some of them happened even today, especially when the president was at the coast. There's some kind of words he said or the quote during his project launching. Responding to the Gachagua, because we know the ex-deputy president yesterday had a conversation on the media, and it is something that it's something that people are conversing about and people are talking about and looking at the government, being that deputy president was in the government. But that one aside, there's something that we want to look here and at least get the opinion about what happened yesterday at it was Vihiga County where Honorable Stotsi was having homecoming party at his home. One, to celebrate being appointed or being appointed as the ODM deputy leader. And in that meeting, there are few things that I picked. One was the presence of Atuoli, because Atuoli is not ODM member, and he spoke about Mulembe Nation. That is one. There was the presence of Ditmas Barasa was there. There was also Caroline Nyamu. She was there. So apart from it being uh, a homecoming party, there's also that political kind of sense, the working relations or the broad-based government face was there. And the appearance of Ditmas Baraza is something that should be looked into because it might signal something. Is either he will be running on ODM ticket when he looks for when we'll be vying for governor for Bungoma. That one is there. Or he will have a party that will affiliate or the affiliate that will kind of like merge with ODM to look at that. So that's aside. So now, when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was given a chance to speak, he spoke about Gashagwa and he mocks him about Mitego. You remember how Gachagua used to say that ameweka Mitego State House so that kila papali popote that Raila cannot uh, penetrate and get access to State House. But the way the Right Honorable Prime Minister was talking, one, he was kind of like embracing the handshake, I mean, with the president. And also, he was mocking Gashagwa that despite the fact that all the Mitegos were there, where are you at? Yeah. And it's also kind of, to me, a view like he was also confirming about the process that took place of impeachment, and he's okay with that. That is one thing that I realized. Yesterday, too, none of them condemned the incidents that happened to Rigathi Gachagua when they were there of the Limuru. So that one was not mentioned to anywhere during those speeches. It was about the political almighty. I saw also Peter Salasia became also was attacked by the political rivals because Peter Salasia, few weeks he has been on attack to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and yesterday he was given a warning about attacking the Prime Minister. So let me start with you, Makobura. What is your take on the Raila attack or Raila mocking Rigathi Gachagua about his Mitego? Was it necessary?
Okay. Whatever happened yesterday was a pure political scenario,
Mhm.
and it was an ODM affair, but we saw a good number of members of parliament, uh, especially those who are associating themselves with the UDA and with the president, the likes of Karen Nyamu, the likes of Didmas Baraza, who at some point were serious critics of Raila Amolo Odinga. I think their presence in an ODM function simply clarifies the fact that ODM and UDA are currently joined and that they are working together. That out of that good relationship, they were in solidarity with the ODM party. Something else that I also learned there is that Tuoli of late has been speaking on behalf of the government,
Yeah.
and his presence. Remember, he really supported Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yeah.
So when Raila failed, he shifted his support to the president, and his presence also tells you that Raila and Ruto are currently good buddies, and that their interests have converged at the same point,
Yeah.
that they are planning to work together. And again, if you had, the comments of Atwoli, his insistence, his consistence on talking about the Western, and Raila, and the president, that clarifies the fact that there is a union that is coming between the Westerners, Nyanza, and the Rift Valley, and that I think also clarifies the attack that Raila gave to the former DP, clarifies the fact that all those people are still aligned to the former deputy president, and all those people are not aligned to UDA,
Mhm.
and together with those remained at UDA, that is the former vice president Kalonzo Musyoka and his team.
Yeah.
If you are keen enough, I only mentioned so many political leaders from that region, but he did not mention those who are on the side with the Kalonzo, the likes of Eugene Omalwa, but he only mentioned those who are on the side of the president. So that clarifies the fact that uh, the former deputy president, together with the others in political class, are also planning on their own. That was also confirmed by the former DP, where he said that they are having a conversation with Kalonzo, with Eugene, with Kioni, and they're planning to work together. So what is happening is, from all these things, you're simply learning that the political class have started rearranging themselves, and they've started campaigning to convince the people and to show the people the possible alliances which the people should be expecting.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. But now, what would you want to say, or what is your remark on the the mock that the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga gave to Gachagua about his Mitego? Was it necessary um, at at the venue, or that was a political arena, so it was okay?
That was a political statement,
Yeah.
and it comes with some weight, and it also sends signals.
Hmm.
Just the way I've clarified that ODM and UDA are currently conjoined and
Yeah.
that they're working together.
Hmm.
And anyone who is having a different opinion towards the government and the ODM is against the political uh, is against the political interest of the UD and ODM.
Yeah.
So Raila is just right on his own as a political leader who is leading ODM to defend ODM and to defend the president who gave them a good number of positions within the cabinet. They are currently holding the treasury docket, energy docket. Those are very essential cabinet positions,
Yeah.
and Raila has a right to defend his party and the government. He has also a right to throw a jab to any political leader who is trying to come in between what the UDA and the ODM has made together.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he was right. And if you can remember, there was also an attack to Salasia, who is trying to go again. I mean, call the name of Raila in everything that he's doing. He was given a warning by the politicians that he should stop
Hmm.
touching the name of Raila. I think the comment of Raila towards Gachagua was a clarification that Raila still commands and has a say in the politics of Kenya. Remember, they had a different serious opinion with the former deputy president,
Hmm.
where people would say that they have personal problems towards each other. The former deputy was against his move, and several times he said that ameweka mitego around the state house, and that anyone who is trying to come closer to the government would not manage. And if you can remember, there's a time they were in Moranga, and Raila spoke, and he said to the deputy president that you cannot stop conversation, no, you cannot stop us from conversing, and you should try to relax. You should not take hardline stance whereby you're blocking, where you're telling the president that we can't have talks. You remember when he stood, he said that hiyo ni kazi yake kuensure ya kwamba hakuna mtu atakaribia State House na hakuna mazungumzo yoyote ambayo yeye atakubali kama naibu wa rais. When the president stood, the president was in the middle. He was not supporting Raila, not supporting the deputy, just because he knew, the power that Raila comes with, and that was confirmed when the impeachment came. Remember, there's no one who believed that an impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi would go through, having in mind that more of members of parliament are coming from the Mount Kenya region.
Yeah.
And I think the deputy believed that with that number, it was impossible for him to be, thrown out. But we saw a calculation that was made politically where the ODM combined with the UDA, and within 1 minute they threw him out. And so that was just a confirmation to the former DP that you are still young in politics, and that Raila is a political enigma in the Republic of Kenya, and that anajua kona zote and all the way and how politics is being played.
Okay. Thank you so much, Makobura. Miguda, when you listen to the Right Honorable Prime Minister mocking Rigathi Gachagua based on the remarks that Gachagua made when he was still the deputy president, and you look at the process, how the process that it took to impeach deputy president, does it mean that he's confirming that what was done was the rightful thing.
Raila talked about people who are, he talked about the trap.
Yeah,
He was categorical about the trap. First, before I talk about Greta's statement, kindly allow me to comment on the presence of Karen Nyamu,
yeah.
Didmas Baraza, and Atwoli in that function. I'll not comment about Atwoli. Let me focus on Karen Nyamu and Didmas Baraza. In my view, currently, Karen Nyamu, she is a nominated senator in the Senate by UDA. Going forward, 2027, she must look for a political party to vie and come back as elected member of parliament, National Assembly or senator. For her, she's looking for an alternative party. Maybe she has been promised by ODM people that come join our party, we are going to give certificate for a certain constituency or region to vie. That's why he has to look for friends beyond UDA because UDA is not going to offer her that nomination in 2027. Didmas Baraza presence there is clearly that he's eyeing to go for gubernatorial in Bungoma, either with ODM ticket, because in 2027, ODM are going to show what Kenya does in Bungoma. Currently, Raila has organized in that region, and even the current National Assembly Speaker, Moses Wetangula, the brother, who is called Fred Wetangula, joined ODM when Raila went to that region. So Fred Wetangula is in ODM.
Fred Wetangula or
And
Wanyonyi?
Fred Wetangula, there's a brother, leave alone Wanyonyi. Wanyonyi is the MP for Westlands.
Yeah.
There's another brother called Fred Wetangula. He
Okay.
dumped his brother from Fort Kenya and joined ODM.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many brothers. There are only two. There are not only two brothers. There are so many brothers from that guy. So Fred Wetangula joined ODM. It's a significant that Fred Wetangula is going to go for that seat using ODM ticket. If you are going to have most of ODM members in the Bungoma and MCA, what do you do as the aspiring governor? You go and look for ODM ticket. That is what Didmas Baraza is looking for, that ticket for ODM. That's why he was in that rally. Raila attack on Rigathi Gachagua. Raila was very specific about the trap that Gachagua himself put for him.
Yeah.
And they used the analogy of the rat trap, which was put for rat with the owner of the house. That owner of the house was referred to Rigathi Gachagua. Then when that owner of the house was bitten by a poisonous snake, he called the people whom he wanted to assist him to remove that trap. And Raila used the things like chicken, mbuzi, and cow. But that's not the case. Raila was simply saying that when he wanted to impeach Rigathi Gachagua out of government,
Yeah.
we call you people to come and assist us. The people who did not participate in the impeachment process in the National Assembly, the people who objected the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, once we are done with Rigathi Gachagua, we are coming for you people. We must deal with you. And we are going to deal with you even in 2027 during the ballot, because they said during the burial of that honor, there were people wanted to eat food. They started to cook chicken. Chicken was not enough. There were so many visitors. They go for mbuzi. Mbuzi was not enough. There were so many visitors. Then it's okay. Say, okay, we have a cow here. Let's bring a cow. Then they slaughtered that cow. It seemed to the people that for those people who did not participate in the impeachment process for Rigathi Gachagua, if you are in our team, we are going to make sure that 2027, during the big day, you are not going to be re-elected. That is what he was trying to send that one to those people. And yesterday I said in this channel that the people who Raila was referring to were the third force who are emerging. People like Babu Owino, people like Didi Nyoro. They are being warned from far, and that, you did not participate when you wanted the government to go home. If that time comes when we are united ODM and UDA, we will show you the door. Actually, they have been shown the door. And in politics, such things happen, they are not going to be forgiven. People like Kalonzo going forward, they are not going to have any culture with Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga attacked Rigathi Gachagua, but I would like Rigathi Gachagua not to respond to Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga has just given Rigathi Gachagua a trap again. If Rigathi Gachagua is going to respond to Raila Odinga, they're going to make Rigathi Gachagua to concentrate on Raila Odinga. Remember, Raila Odinga is not going to be candidate in 2027. They will now shift Rigathi's focus from Ruto to Odinga. So Rigathi
Oh,
Gachagua, if he's a very wise politician, let him ignore Raila Odinga's statement and focus on the main opponent, William Ruto. If he
okay.
tries to go ahead to respond Raila Odinga, he's going to miss the point.
All right. Thank you so much. And now, does it mean that Rigathi was so much powerful that for him to be taken out of the DP position, the ODM had to come on board? Be good.
Yeah, he was very powerful. I told you that he was made to be powerful by William Ruto. He was powerful that UD alone could have not removed him from the power. Because for you to remove him from power, you need one third of the whole house to support that impeachment process. UDA alone could have not done it because there were some MPs in UDA who never participated in that impeachment process. There were some MPs in UDA who voted no.
Yeah.
If you can remove those who voted no and those who never participated, the UDA alone could achieve that number to remove him from the office. That's why they had to put the effort of ODM to remove Rigathi Gachagua from the office. I can say it was powerful.
Okay. Thank you so much. Makobura, the Right Honorable Prime Minister talked of um, presidency of 2027, and he said that the ODM should fill the MCAs, women rep, senators, governors, and the president in 2027. Was this just only a political statement or he meant it? And if he does it mean that they're just only working with the UDA for a period of 3 years that is left? Then after that, everybody will go their own way to look for presidency. Then after that, they might come back and have another coalition or another working relations.
Okay, thank you, Brother Ben. From where I sit, I'm seeing an arrangement where the ODM and the UDA are going to work together.
Yeah.
Remember, currently, ODM donated senior members of ODM, the deputy party leaders, and suppose we are going for another election,
Mhm.
and these experts which were donated to the UDA, they cannot vie for presidency. So the only option with is to support the president,
Yeah.
so that they can get a place and be, appointed again to head the dockets which they are heading. So that clarifies the fact that ODM is going to work with the government. And I think from where I said, the only thing that they are going to do different is when it comes to negotiation, they're going to raise it, whereby they'll be demanding so many seats
Yeah.
in support to the president. But as far as things are concerned, we are seeing them having a good alliance to an extent that in an ODM affair, we're
Mm.
even seeing UDA the critics the people who are criticizing, Raila and his team. They've now joined the camp and they're now, celebrating together. So that clarifies the fact that there's a possible union between the two parties, and it is something that is there, and there's a possibility that they're going to work together come 2027. That is my take on that. But again, you know, every party, in a similar way, we've seen parties within Kenya Kwanza, we've seen parties within Azimio, as much as they are in a coalition government.
Yeah.
Most of times they have to go retreat and get back to their parties, and they have to fight and speak about their parties. So ODM, they are known to trying their level best to ensure that they sell their party, and that is what Raila is doing.
Mhm.
And remember, even whenever they're in any arrangement similar to the one that they had in Azimio, they still had to retreat and get back to their political parties and fight so that they can, get to be notified or get to stand taller than the other parties. So it is a normal thing. Raila telling them that they are going. Raila is the party leader, yes, and
He's not a
ODM.
he's not a party leader.
Okay,
He's former party leader. He gave the leadership to Anyang Nyong'o, the Prof, His Excellency Anyang Nyong'o, the Kisumu governor.
if you are keen enough in that, if you are keen enough in what was happening over there, he
Yes.
was still being referred to as the party leader of ODM, and that clarifies something that hapa nje hatuoni, lakini pale nyuma kwa tent iko. So I'm just trying to say that ODM is one of the strongest and biggest party in the Republic of Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they have a right to also present their presidential candidate. Of course, if they have decided that they're going to work with the UDA, then they will have to look at who has the weight and what are you bringing on the table. So there's a possibility that the deputy president might come from, the ODM side.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a right to also push that they're going to come up with a presidential candidate so that they can get to the next step of getting a deputy or someone of that caliber.
So does it mean that maybe Miguda, if you can, does it mean that the Right Honorable Prime Minister has sense that sometimes AU might not be winnable?
AU is not a walk in the park, and Mr. Odinga knows that very well. Mr. Odinga is a seasonal politician. He knows very well. And people also say that even if he wins AU, he's going to resign and come back to campaign in the country. I do not see a scenario whereby Odinga can be outside the country when he's alive and we have a presidential election in this country.
Yeah.
That one is something that is next to imagination. Because in my view, even yesterday when you saw that rally at Vihiga,
Yes.
the way Raila was so much happy and the way he was strong, the way the crowd received him, those crowd will not allow him to go to AU because those crowd depend on him. Because with him, most of people are being elected just by carrying their hands. Those people are the people who are going to delay him from AUC. In fact, most of those people want him to fail so that he can come and play active politics in the country for their own benefit as leaders in the National Assembly, senators, even some of the MCs. He must carry their hand for them to be re-elected. Mr. Odinga has realized that if in case people say that you can resign if he wins, but if he does not win the AUC, it's not a big deal to Mr. Odinga because Mr. Odinga is trying to bring, he has strategized that even if they are going forward with UDA, if they are not going to produce presidential candidates, they must produce the second in command. How are they going to do this? Currently, William Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, obviously is going
Yeah.
to defend that seat. There's
Yeah.
no way William Ruto can give someone when he's so strong and there's no cause for alarm. He's going to defend that seat. So if he's defending that seat, Odim are going to argue that we help you to remove Rigathi Gachagua as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. We help you to stabilize your government. Now we are coming to join forces with you. Give us that seat for deputy president. And that's how they are going to bargain.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you so much. And now there's also another catch is about the deputy president, the interview, and we just want to weigh on thoughts on that. But if you look at that interview with what the deputy president was saying, something that we have to give it to the deputy president has been consistent with his narrative that he has not flipped, yeah, and he has been he has perfected that. And some of the issues that DP raised, they're not very new to what every other Kenyan has been raising. Talk about corruption. Yeah, that is something that majority of Kenyans have raised. Talk about abduction. It has been on the public um, domain for longest time. Talk about tribalism. And that also has been not only with the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, but it has always been the part of politics of our country. And let's come to tribalism. You know, to be very sincere, because from now, I think like the political class want us to believe that the tribalism that has always been in Kenya, it is something that has been propagated by Rigathi Gachagua. Yeah, he was somebody who was very tribal. Yeah, in nature, and he was a tribal kingpin, or maybe he was tribal because he was speaking about his area or his region. But now, when we want to make the record straight, and I wish the leaders could all also come out and explain to the people of Kenya, because we are talking about tribalism. We know Kenyan politics revolve around tribalism, but if they could come out and maybe differentiate for us, yes, he was a tribal. We don't deny that. Yeah. But he was somebody who was speaking it loudly. Yeah. And we also have the appointments, because this is something that we've spoken about that has been done by the government, or the president has done appointment. When you look at the major parastatal, the majority of professionals who are appointed there, they're coming from one tribe or one region, if to say. Yeah. And even if you look at the report that was done during the Uhuru administration, it was it was said that the two communities were leading in the appointments in the government. That was the people from the mountain during Uhuru time and the people from uh, the valley. Those are reports are there. So how, when will the leaders come out, and when we are talking about tribalism, that we very truthful and factual on what we are saying, because we know Gashaga was very tribal because he keep on talking about Mount Kenya. But what about the appointments that has been made? That is not tribal. Maybe Miguda, if to start with you.
Tribal, tribal is tribal.
Yeah.
Be it verbally, be it through action. If you're a tribal person, you are a tribal person.
Hmm.
The people, he who has got no sin should cast the first stone. That is what Jesus Christ told the Pharisees and the teachers of law and the scribes who brought an adultery woman who was caught in act to him, so that he can condemn that woman. The people who are condemning Rigathi Gachagua on corruption, they are the corrupt on tribalism, they are the high priest of tribalism. Because with them, they are doing it through action. They are actualizing it by appointing a people from one community. The previous we saw that 6 people were from one region were given the head of parastatals, whereas we have a country where we are more than 43 tribes. That is corruption in my view. That's why I said the people who are calling out Rigathi Gachagua for being corrupt through verbal, although even Rigathi Gachagua is corrupt, because there was a time he also wanted some people to be chased out of government so that he can replace his own people. And
Yeah.
whenever he went to Mount Kenya, he used to say that hapa kwa mlima tulipatia yule jamaa kitu, tulipatia yule jamaa kitu. That is tribal. All these people are tribal. Be it Rigathi Gachagua, be it William Ruto. In that context, 2 of them were tribal. Someone could not utter it, but someone could do it practically. Someone could utter it. That's the difference between them. But all of them were corrupt. Rigathi Gachagua, that's why people were saying, if you are impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, why can't you impeach William Ruto? Because we believe that all of them have been accused of all allegations you are presenting before the National Assembly, so that Rigathi Gachagua can be impeached. That's why people are saying kufa dereva, kufa gari, because people knew very well that in this corruption they are talking about, there are some people who have put their own close tribal men in the position, in the public position, and they expect that if you utter those words, you are corrupt. In my view, corruption is corruption. Be it someone who is talking about him. In fact, we should
Is it
stop
corrupt
talking
or not
about,
tribal?
sorry, tribal is tribal. For those who are talking about tribalism, that is tribal. For those who are practicing it through appointment, it is tribal. As a country, we should avoid tribalism by any cost, be it through verbal speaking or through action. We should stop it because as a nation, this issue of tribalism has caused us so much in this country. We have a record in the country, even the post-election violence in 2007, 2008, it resulted to many people were killed, many people lost their lives, many people were, there's properties were destroyed, many people were transferred from one region to the other region. Even many people were declared to be persona non grata in some region that if you are not a member of this community, you must flee to your region. People fled outside some region in this country. We should not live in that society. We should live in a society where we are united. You can live any part of this country. You can do business any part of this country. You
Mhm.
can apply for any job in this country, and you can qualify as a competent through meritocracy and work for the people of Kenya. You don't need to qualify for a job because you are coming from a certain tribe.
Yeah.
That's why, in my view, I'm still insisting that if at all Mr. President want to persuade us that Mr. Gachagua was the one who was tribal, but he was not tribal, let him also dissolve the parastatals and appoint new people from different tribes across the country that can reflect the face of Kenya. If he can do that one through action, then we are going to believe him that, okay, it is true, Mr. President, that this corruption, this tribal thing you're talking about,
Mhm.
it was not from your side. It is the person who has gone home. But if at all it is the government and the person who is at home and him, they are still maintain the people from one region in those parastatals, it means that they are the same.
Okay, thank you. And that one brings me to something that I would want Makobura. When you look at the members of parliament or the leaders that have been given the mandate and all, including all the agencies that are supposed to look into things to do with the tribalism, and they begin given that mandate, especially, let me talk about the agencies. Let me just come to the members of parliament. Where do you think their loyalty lies? Yeah, because even the members of parliament who are supposed to fight for Kenyan people and have that equality in terms of, even let's say that employment, because they usually want to have an employment whereby the government will always have a fair representation or that face of Kenya by us seeing each and every member of a particular tribe is in the government. But the members of parliament knows very well that that is something that is happening. Yeah, but none of them is talking about that. And if you look at before the broad-based government, especially members in the opposition who have joined, they used to advocate for this. They used to call out and say like, this government has no fair representation. We are not seeing um you know other tribes being employed. But right now, the members of the parliament, the same members of parliament who are advocating for that, they tend not even to call out uh, what we are saying about the employment. you know so where is their loyalty? Is their loyalty with the presidency, or their loyalty should be with the people?
Okay. The Constitution of the Republic of Kenya speaks of what the role of the members of parliament are, and it clarifies. Among them are representation and making laws which are helpful to the people. And all these things they should do with the consultation of the people, with the authorization of the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. What we've been seeing is, especially in the parliament that we're currently having, we're having a parliament that do not really care for the people, a parliament that is going or does not even respect the constitution that they swore that they would protect. The parliament, the constitution clarifies a fact that the executive, the judiciary, and the parliament are separable. These are departments within government that, as much as they need each other, they need to be independent. What we've been seeing is
Yeah.
the executive has been controlling the parliament. Whenever you see executive, trying to influence the dealings of the parliament, then the people of Kenya are the ones who are hurting. Whenever you see the president trying to interfere with the decisions by the parliament, then the president will only be doing what we call his interest as the president and as the executive.
Mhm.
But remember, the parliament should be listening to the people and making decisions. They're the most closest people with they're the most closest
Yeah.
leaders with the people. And so whenever we interact with the people, they should report back what the ground is saying. What we've been seeing is a different thing. We've been seeing members of parliament who are getting instructions from the state house or from the president. That was confirmed when the implementation of the finance bill was coming, whereby instead of going back to the constituencies to listen to what the people are saying, they decided to listen to the president and the instructions from the state house. And
Yeah.
that led to a mass demonstration. That is a clear indication that truly the parliament has forfeited their work and they've not respected the will and the constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Whenever we have a parliament that is not consistent with the people, a parliament that does not respect the will of the people, we always end up in a country where the people are fighting the government. There is no good connection from the people and the people in leadership.
Mhm.
What we'll see is consistent demonstration because the people, who are the citizens, are not aware of what the government is doing. Or if they are aware, the government is doing things which are not without consulting the people. So you find that there's two parallel ways. The government is going on its parallel way and the thinking of the people is on another way. And that these are the things which has led the country Kenya uh, to lack the progressive growth when it comes to the economical growth, because a good government is a government that should listen to the pockets of the people, the thinking of the people,
Yeah.
and what the people has to say. A good government is a government that members of parliament are there to make laws. We after consulting the people, laws which are going to influence the livelihood of the people, but not laws which have been laws and directions which they've gotten from the president. Whenever the parliament and the executive are in bed, the people, who are the taxpayers, the ones who are hurting. Whenever the parliament, uh, you know, the judiciary and the executive are not listening to the ground, that is when you'll find that there's too much corruption within the judiciary, executive, and the parliament. There's disconnection between the people who are the citizens and the leaders. So, in my opinion, the law is very there has and it has clarifies what needs to be done. The law clarifies the level at which the members of parliament are supposed to be engaged, the interaction between the executive and the parliament, the interaction between the judiciary and the parliament. Everything is very clear. It is only that the problems you are having is these people have just decided not to follow the law. They've decided to not, they've decided to just not respect the people. And these are things we need to look into as a people and ensure that going forward, we are people who are respected, we are people who are having leaders who are concerned about their lives, we are people whose rights are being protected by the people in leadership.
Okay. I tend to agree with you. And now let me come to Miguda, because you see, when you look at now what is happening, even Kenyans, some few Kenyans still believe, you know, they still believe on, let's say, like you're talking about the tribal, based on what they are being explained to, you know. about Gachagua being a tribal leader. And this is said by the politician on the platform or everywhere. But if you go even to the villages, those who are in the villages who are consuming these messages, who are being told these messages, they believe that that is true. Yep. How can Kenyans themselves also come to the realization to understand what is taking place, the facts that are there? That one, that our country, our politics, the tribal factor has to play a role in a positive way, not in a negative way, by us accepting the tribes that we come from. You know, you get proud of your tribe and use it in a very positive way, even if it comes to politics. And they should understand the tribal part of it in a positive way, not on a negative way, whereby people are very particular of a person that this is somebody who is a tribal. And if you look at how the 2027 politics is going to be, the tag that has been given to the Rigathi Gachagua, that will be the politics of him. The opponents will always attack him on the tribal lines. How can Kenyan's population come and realize that, okay, where are the facts?
It is very difficult for the ordinary people of Kenya
Mm.
to distinguish between fact and fiction
Yeah.
because many people have been taken through that way.
Mm.
Politics is all about perception. Politicians know this one very well and they have capitalized on it. Politicians in this country knows that whenever they have tagged someone in such name like tribal leader, the people who are viewed to be the opponent of that person will treat him as a tribal leader. Right now, UDA and ODM are preaching the gospel of tribalism against Rigathi Gachagua, that he was impeached because he was tribal.
Yeah.
Obviously, the supporters of UDA and ODM are going to ride on that narrative that that guy from Mount Kenya is a tribal person, and that's why he was impeached. That one has worked effectively with the Kenyan politics, and it worked very nice. There's no way, as a supporter of Odinga or Ruto, will be persuaded that Rigathi Gachagua was not tribal. And you cannot explain to him that even William Ruto, through his appointment, is tribal. You can't explain to him until he understands, because with him, it has been done, the impeachment process has taken place, and they perceive that the reason why he was impeached, it was because he was only advocating for the interests of the people of Mount Kenya at the national government, which is not the case. Because there have been so many things that he was impeached because he was insubordinating the president, because he was corrupt. But now they have just measured on tribal card that this guy was tribal, and that's why they have shown him the way to home. And that's how they have gone to coastal people. That's why they have gone to Western Kenya. That's how they have gone to the lake, saying that that guy was tribal, and that's why they have impeached. It's not easy for you to convince the people that he was not tribal, and it's not easy for you to convince the people that even Ruto himself is tribal. You cannot convince the people that even the coalition that has been made between ODM and UDA, it has been made on tribal basis. And each and every this leader leading these coalitions have identified themselves with their tribe. Ruto has identified himself with the Kalenjin nation. Raila has identified himself with the Luo nation. They have identified their formation with their own tribe, and they have come to merge. They have merged because they have been identified their tribe. But the ordinary or average voter is not going to understand that. That's what Rigathi is trying to tell them, that even us, let us identify ourselves with our tribe in the mountain Kenya. Reason is the 2022 election, the previous election, William Ruto was tagged as a corrupt leader. And they said that Uyo Mwizi, that corrupt leader, and the people who are anti-Ruto, the people who are pro-Azimio, knew him that he's corrupt. How is it that today he is not corrupt and he was corrupt previously? When Uhuru and Ruto were coming to government in 2013, they
Yeah.
were tagged. These guys are subject to the ICC. They have committed crimes against humanity. And those elements are going to be proven at The Hague that the two people have committed crimes against humanity, and they cannot live the same humanity because You cannot purport to believe the same humanity and you have killed the same humanity, you have executed the killing of that humanity. That the crimes against humanity which were committed the Kenyan people, we cannot elect you. And I remembered vividly with that the late Mutula Kilonzo Jr. said on a Citizen TV that there's no way a person who has committed crimes against humanity is going to be given an opportunity to lead the same humanity. People went to the ballot knowing very well that they are going to defend the suspect,
Mhm.
that challenging and the free nation. Where the people who are for Raila Odinga, they're going to the ballot that they are going to send away the suspect to hell.
Mhm.
It has been a culture in the country that you look for an enemy, you tag in a certain name, you use it as a narrative to
Yeah.
drive your political agenda to make sure and persuade your supporters that as for us, we are against tribalism. That's why we do not want that person. That's why I told you that Rigathi Gachagua, they can just left him to do his politics in Mount Kenya. But with them, they have gotten their way on how they can escape through accountability to the people. They no longer talk about accountability. They no longer talk about service delivery. They are just focused on that. Rigathi Gachagua was impeached because he was tribal. Rigathi Gachagua saw it being a mistake. Instead of him putting the government on toes or asking them question on accountability, he's busy respond to them that I was not tribal. I was not
Yeah.
tribal. We should change our politics, Brother Benson.
Mhm. But Makobura, do you think it will sorry, do you think it will reach a point where as a country we will be in the path of politics of ideology, that we do politics of ideology, that we say this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and you perform all that and win the hearts of Kenyans? Or it will be a politics of promises as usual, but when you go into the power, you change and start to do those that pleases you, not what you promised the people.
I think the people of Kenya have seen what bad leadership is all about.
Mm.
I think they've seen what politicians are capable of doing. I think and I believe that they know what is right and what is not right. Up to this extent where we've gotten, I think it is best for the people of Kenya to make right decisions, decisions which are well thought of, decisions which are going to help us as a people. You know, the mistakes that we've been making is we've been dwelling so much on our tribe. We've been giving tribalism a center stage when when doing elections or when we're going for elections. We've gotten to a point where we no longer care about the humanity, but we only care about very about things which are not beneficial to the people.
Mhm.
We've clearly learned that whether your brother or your sister is elected to be the president, we've always seen, and that was even confirmed. If you remember, the deputy governor was being impeached in Kisii. There were issues of not helping the family. So we should not elect people just because they're coming from our tribe. We should not elect people just because they're our friends, but we should give opportunity to people who have leadership skills in them. We should give opportunity to people who are truthful. We should not give opportunity to people just because they've been in the political class for quite some time. But let us do a critical analysis on each and every individual. Let us weigh and see, because it is, we are human beings are the only people who have what we call a sense of thinking and a sense of making decisions. We have that capacity. When someone is lying, I think it is not so tough to identify or to know,
Yeah.
because we've been in this country. We can try to analyze
Yeah.
their their whole life behavior and how they've behaved and how they've handled people, especially when they get opportunity to lead. So these are things that we can manage as a people. We need just to we need just to ensure that the decisions that we make are decisions which are beneficial to us, are decisions which are going to help our country, to prosper, are decisions which are going to ensure that even if we are no longer there, our children would be in safe hand. Even if we'll be no longer there, our children would be safe. So the bigger part of what we need to do is just a critical analysis and make the right decision, a decision that is not influenced with tribe, a decision that is not influenced by race, a decision that is not influenced by by nature or anything, but let it be a decision that is influenced by the character of someone, a decision that is influenced by what someone can deliver. That way, we get to a point where we will be safe as a country. And I therefore want to urge the youth of the Republic of Kenya that we have the opportunity to change this country and the leadership. We have the opportunity to ensure that we remind the leaders, so the people in leadership, to do what is right. And that was confirmed by what they did. When they moved, when they went for demonstrations, whereby they all came out to ensure that they stood for what was right. And the only things which united them were the problems that we were facing as a country. Among the problems were lack of good education, the hunger, the high cost of things. If we got to a point where we are being united, by the sufferings which are being caused by politicians, because the citizens are the majority. When we get to that point where, when you see our brother suffering, we'll be able to say that it is because of this. We need to identify the problems that are causing and making us suffer, and then from the problems we can then try to come up with solutions. That is my take.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Miguda, I don't know whether you have something to say before we close. I hope the second session will be coming at 10.
We'll just meet at the second session. For now, let us just meet at the second session.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda, and thank you so much, Makubura, for tuning in. I hope if you find time, we will come back at 10 and discuss other issues. Actually, to continue with the issues that were raised by the deputy president, because former deputy president, sorry, I keep on calling him, because deputy president yesterday talked of one of the things that we've talked about is the tribalism. And when you look at tribalism is not something that has started with this kind of administration. That Kenya have had this tribalism kind of politics since time immemorial. It has always been there. People have been voting um, based on their tribes or the numbers, if you might call it. The only time that we saw that Kenyans did not consider so much tribe in their voting was when the late President Moi was being voted out. That was the time that I would say Kenyans from all walks of life came together and voted to show that Kenyaism in them. But from from there, we've not seen Kenyan voting the way they voted for President Kibaki, and Kenyans also have been voting based on the situations. You talk about the ICC during the time for Uhuru Kenyatta and President Ruto. Those are some of the things that you know made people to vote that way. Based on the circumstances, and if you look at the coalitions that are formed based on those circumstances, they don't last. Yep, because they just formed because of the situation, or they come together because of what they are going through, on how they can, do I say, escape that, or they can overcome that of the situation, but not on the real issues. There's also this issue of abduction that the deputy president spoke about. This is not the first time it is happening. It has always been happening in the country. There's corruption. corruption naye ni sasa tu is a national imekuwa. So I think in the second debate we will look at all this and discuss. And gentlemen, thank you so much for everyone who has been on the comment section. Judith and Brenda, thank you so much. And may God bless you as we come in for the second session. Makobura and Miguda, thank you so much for your time. And I hope we are meeting at 10 for the next show. Thank you so much.